Well, let's hope. Let's hope against hope that the feed won't cut. Hey, everybody, good evening. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your very busy schedule to spend a few moments with me here in a segment I'm beginning to call the Daily Brief. Or is it the brief? Whichever. Guys, jump on here real quick. I will not keep you long. I will need at least 15 minutes of your time. Got a few things I have to get off my chest, talk to you about. All right, guys, I want to talk about given Lubinda. Earlier today, he went on Facebook and he was talking about the Chinese. He was congratulating the Chinese on some big special day that the Chinese are celebrating, and that's fine to do. But then he sort of bled into a different territory when he started talking about, and really the only way that I can describe what Given Lubinda was doing was that he was trying to drive a wedge. Okay, that's called driving a wedge between friendships. Basically, Given Lubinda was trying to insinuate that because Hakainde Hichilema's relationship with America is good, according to Given Lubinda, it means HH's relationship with China is bad. The president has made it very clear, as far as I know and as far as I can tell. And of course, I do not speak for the president, but I will say, because we are citizens, we observe and we hear. The president made it very clear that it doesn't have to be an either or. The president seemed to make it clear that it's very possible to have a symbiotic relationship with both America and China. The president said, just because I see America doesn't mean I hate China. Just because I see China doesn't mean I hate America. But here it is, you've got Lubinda, who seems to thrive. He seems to bask in this perceived wedge that he's trying to drive and trying to hoodwink the electorate into thinking that President Hichilema's symbiotic relationship with both America and China is somehow compromised. Listen, Lubinda needs to understand that he needs to wake up and smell the coffee. He's no longer in Kansas, okay? And for those of you that have watched The Wizard of Oz, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Lubinda and the rest of his group, the NPF, the Notorious Patriotic Front, needs to understand that things have changed. The country has evolved, and they have to evolve with the country. I'll never forget, and everybody knows this, I'll never forget when Lubinda came on television and said, "That is how confident we are. In August of 2021, I'm going to come back here and I'll say, Banyala, Banyala." He's still in that mindset. He has refused to accept that they are no longer in power. And so he sort of fumbles around with the reality that the NPF are no longer in power. Guys, it's okay. It's all right. You'll survive it. Once you go through the 5 stages of grief, and you know what they are, denial, for a time that the NPF were in denial. They just couldn't believe it, that they no longer have the power. They couldn't believe that the power slipped through their fingers. They couldn't believe, they felt and they thought that they were living in some type of alternative universe when the UPND won. They simply couldn't believe it. But guys, you have to understand that leadership is about ebb and flow. It's ebb and flow. It's yin and yang. It's give and take. You can't always be on top. Your time has passed and you have refused to accept it. The NPF needs to understand that. Now, the one person, I think, in my view, the one person that seems to begin to get a hold of this is Bowman. Have you noticed Bowman? Have you guys noticed Bowman's demeanor's changed? Bowman supported the migration of the street vendors into the markets. No, it's a good thing. We need healthy people. We need healthy streets. That's Bowman. And then here recently, Bowman was praising the government. Bowman is trying to weasel his way into the UPND. We know that. And look, he's a Zambian. He's entitled to that. Okay. I think he's trying to survive is what it is. He's trying to ride the wave of compromise, and hopefully he'll come out on the other side unscathed. The only trouble with that is, I can still hear Bowman's words ringing in my head. Those words still ring in my ear. I can still hear those words ringing in my ear. And so when I see Bowman try to warm up to the UPND, it's all it is it's a survival mechanism. It is his attempt at keeping his head above the water so that he can survive. We all have it. It's an instinct. You want to survive. You don't want to die. So what do? You toe the line. Boy, I tell you what, my voice is hoarse. So lastly, I want to talk about this. Did you hear about this so-called apostle? I can't stand it when I hear these so-called preachers, these clergymen, they bestow upon themselves the title of apostle. Apostle so-and-so got into some kind of physical scuffle. Brother thought he was Muhammad Ali. He thought he was George Ugly, Sonny Liston, George Foreman. The story apparently was, there's this apostle, I forget his name. They're all the same, basically. And what was his name? The guy's name? Tell me in the comments. Some apostle who he punched his colleague because his colleague advised him not to continue his illicit affair with some chick in the church. Okay? And I'm paraphrasing, just so you know. So apparently the apostle got all flustered. You know what it means to get flustered? He got upset. So in an attempt to retaliate, what does the so-called apostle do? He turns around and he knocks him one. Can you believe that? Apostle turns around. Mwewa, apostle, you need to quit that relationship with that chick in the church. How dare you talk to me like that? Bam! The case is in court. They reported him. Here's the thing about apostles. Many of them, especially these church papas, okay? Now, I'm not talking about a pastor that loves you, pastor that loves the flock. We have many pastors called of God, pastors that bombard the gates of glory, pastors that want to see you win, pastors that stand in the gap, pastors that pray heaven down, and pastors that just want to see you win at life. I'm not talking about those pastors. I'm talking about these jamokes. I'm talking about these vagabonds. I'm talking about these wolves in sheep's clothing. These chaps that call themselves apostles and pastors when all they want to do is fleece you and your money. I'm talking about those jokers. Those jokers are the most self-centered, narcissistic individuals and dysfunctional individuals that you'll ever meet in your whole life. I mean, these guys are a mess. And the last thing that they ever want to hear is someone else to correct them. Oh, my goodness. They hate it. Because you know why? Because they've got a God complex. Most of these so-called apostles, all of these papas, okay, without exception, all papas on Facebook, every papa that calls himself a papa, all of them have a narcissistic, self-absorbed, self-righteous attitude. They think that they've got this Messiah complex. They think they're the be-all and end-all. They think that nobody can tell them what to do. And so when you turn around and say to an apostle, you need to quit hanging out with that chick in that church, bam! Gotta go. Bye.